Can science find God? Well, the short answer is no. Science can never find God, the reality, because God is not an object, but the infinite presence which illumines the objects. Let's look at some more in-depth reasons or observations that can throw some light on this subject. Absolute cannot be sought. This is observation number one. Absolute cannot be sought in the relative because they belong to two different planes of existence. Mind's capacity is limited compared with awareness because mind can only deal with one thought at a time because mind is limited in time, while awareness can know infinite number of thoughts at a time because awareness knows no limits. Truth awareness is limitless and beyond or prior to the mind, so the mind cannot get there. You cannot see white snow with orange glasses. There is a built-in gap between awareness and thought. You can journey across it from your side, that means awareness side, and identify with the thought if you wish. But no thought has ever made the journey across the gap to visit you, the awareness. Zero dimension can assume one dimension, but one dimension cannot penetrate zero dimension unless it dissolves or disappears into it. How can a three-dimensional cube fit into a two-dimensional square? An object cannot know a perception cannot know a thought, and a thought cannot know awareness. It's as simple as that. There is no corridor connecting mortality to immortality. Absolute cannot be sought in the relative. Non-duality cannot be sought in duality. The power and the make of a telescope tells us nothing about who looks through it. Similarly, the power and the make of the mind tells us nothing about the awareness which looks through those minds and through those minds sees the corresponding world. The medium used for knowing is being imposed on all that is to be known. Reality cannot be realized that way. Remaining within a dream, we can never understand the dream. Only awareness knows awareness. So if you want to know anything about awareness or absolute, ask awareness, not the dualistic mind. Second reason. A partial view can never take you to the whole. In order to study the world totally, the scientist can never be part of the world. He should have a stand outside the world to get the realistic picture objectively. Remaining within the objective world, it is impossible to understand the world fully. A single cell in your body can never know the body as a whole. Scientists' observation is biased because it is based on waking state only. Scientific laws that are applicable in the waking state apply to the waking state only, and hence not absolute. As a waker or scientist, you can never arrive at the truth. Complete knowledge cannot come if anything is left out. It is impossible to arrive at truth when a scientist rejects so much data of dream and deep sleep and confine himself to waking reality alone. Dream and deep sleep states are the greatest clues available for human being for unraveling the mysteries of life. Number 3. Informative or relative knowledge is subject to correction because it is conditioned by various changing factors, so you can never count on it. Mind, thought, and matter, object, are interdependent and hence illusory because they rise and sink together. To prove the ears, you require a sound. To prove the sound, you require ears. Which proves which one? So, how can an illusory mind understand an illusory matter? Science is a subject-dependent knowledge. One thing that seems like truth one day may turn out to be erroneous, false on a later day. The flip-flops happen in science all the time, as we know. Old knowings are constantly dismissed as we come across new ones. All measurements take place or appear in mind. How can the scientists know that their measurements or matter are not a reflection of the limitations of their own minds? They are never going to find out the truth through observing objects because it is the indeterminate reality from our Maya that is never the same from one moment to the next. It is made up by its very nature of knowledge and ignorance, so you can never tell what it actually is. That is the reason why scientists and modern cosmology cannot explain the origination of this world, because the world has not really originated. World as an appearance, a projection, a superimposition, a dream in awareness, happening eternally, is the only way we can explain the unchanging, actionless reality or absolute, manifesting an ever-changing, finite world. Indirect, informative knowledge, no matter how useful, is never completely true to the object. Changing situations are always present, caused by time, space, and karma. The more you probe into this illusory world, the more mysterious it becomes, more confusion it becomes. And our final answer will be, I do not know. Illusion can only produce more illusion because that is the nature of illusion, the nature of mind and matter. The more you know about this illusion, the more you don't know about this. And there is no end to it. No wonder scientists could not find matter yet as an independent entity from awareness. Number 4, science has got its model of life backwards. Science says that matter, world, time, space is the reality versus awareness as the reality. How can the ever-present awareness be a product or property of the ever-changing and intermittent matter? This defies reason and our experience. Only awareness is aware and it's original. Once it is believed that and thought with the premise that the body is aware and starts from there, everything we think downstream will contain that original error at its origin. This is undoubtedly a great injustice done by the science to the human spiritual development. Science's fundamental mistake is its inability to take note of the changeless principle, the I, standing behind, lighting up all the so-called experiences. Without this stand in the changeless I, the changes can never be correctly examined, whether in the gross or in the subtle realm. We believe that the more you think about matter, the more you will get to the truth. But it is really an error. It remains only a thought and gives you back only a thought. A scientist can never understand the world until he understands the nature of his mind with which he is trying to know the world. How can the study of pictures reveal the camera? the nature of the camera. An effect can never illuminate its cause, even though the cause is inherent in its effect, pervades the effect. The nature of the world depends upon the medium of observation. Mind is like colored glasses awareness wears to observe the world, to enjoy the world. If you are wearing orange glasses, you think that the snow is orange. You have to be awareness to understand awareness. It is not matter or mind that is aware, only awareness is aware. So, in conclusion, there is no world outside of awareness. This irrefutable stand is shown only by the spiritual approach. The truth happens to be the very person or the awareness who is looking for the truth. A finger thinks that it is moving independently on its own. But who is doing the moving? Body as a whole. The paths of science and spirituality are different or divergent. Awareness is ever present, but since mind does not have access to awareness, it confers the continuity to the world matter. But this is completely opposite to our experience. Body, mind, world, time and space disappear every night in our deep sleep. But we, awareness, don't. Scientists are also governed by blind faith. They are believers in the validity of perceptions, sense perceptions. Their blind faith is that the sense organs are the only valid sources of knowledge. So, it's okay that science deals only with phenomena, but it is important to be aware that the scope of science is limited and that it cannot deal with the absolute. The scope of the science is limited and that it cannot deal with the absolute. A wave going in search of water is a worthless effort. A wave going in search of water is a worthless effort.